Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Blaze podcast. Ed Kimberley and Stu Coles from Blaze TV as always. And our guest on today's episode, we're really delighted to announce that CJ Motte, the returning starting netminder for the Blaze, is joining us. And CJ, we were just discussing this before we hit record, and we're all super stoked that you're coming back for another year. And yeah, I mean, you must be thrilled too, because you look like you were having so much fun out there this year.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Always good to talk coverage. You plays hockey with anyone, so glad to be on here. And yeah, really excited to come back. I talked to all my teammates before. We have a good group of guys coming back. So that made my decision easier to come back. And as far as coach, and Danny's done a really good job. With everything, and I enjoyed him as a coach. So as a player, you got a good group of guys and a good coach you like to play for. It makes any guys decision easier to come back.
Yeah, we've done a few of these now with a bunch of the guys that are returning, and I know we'll probably do a few more as the summer rolls on. But I've been doing this a long time, and I don't remember as good a feeling from talking to the boys. And it's just completely evident from talking to you guys, and you clearly feel that too.
Yeah, the season got cut short in a weird time there. We were playing really good hockey from top to bottom, and I think we all kind of felt like we had a good push for the end of the year as the regular season, and then obviously had a really good chance to do some damage in the playoffs there. So just the feeling, I think, was a little bit of unfinished business to come back and continue what we had going.
Because you came in kind of mid-season, we didn't really get a chance to know you very well. It was kind of a bit of a get off the plane, get in some pads, get on the ice. So I kind of wanted to just get to know you a little bit better, because you come from a hockey playing family. Your brother plays in Vancouver right now, which must be crazy for him because that's strange at the minute. But why goalie? Why did you play in goal?
I don't really have a good answer besides, everyone gets a chance when you're young. When you're 5'6", everyone takes a chance in goalie, and for some reason I just loved it. I don't know if it was because I got to play the whole time. I didn't want to sit on the bench and take a shift off, or it's just some kind of the equipment thing. They get to wear all the cool big equipment that no one else got to wear. I don't know. I just, as soon as I started in net and I got the opportunity, to stop pucks, and some people think I'm crazy for getting in front of those pucks as fast as some of those guys shoot it. But, for some reason I just really enjoyed it, stuck with it, and, it's brought me here.
Let's talk about your college career a little bit. You went to Ferris State, and you had a very, very successful time there. You were a Hobey Baker finalist, which is kind of like the MVP in the NCAA. Correct me if I'm wrong. You were the captain in your senior year, and nobody ever gets a letter as a goalie. So that's pretty impressive too. You must look back really, really fondly of your time in college.
Yeah, I went in my freshman year. I got the opportunity to play probably the first half of the year. Me and the senior goalie split, Taylor Nelson. Coach went with him. He had a little more experience down the stretch there. We ended up going to the finals of the NCAA. We ended up losing to Boston College, unfortunately. But, we had a great run. And I think, having a goalie like him in front of me kind of teach me and lead me in the right direction. Gave me the confidence to move forward through the rest of my career there, because coach kind of gave me the reins the rest of my 3 years. I pretty much played almost every game. And yeah, I did a lot of good things. We had a good team there too. A lot of those guys went on to play, pro careers. I think, 5, 6, 8 of them are still playing 4 or 5 years after college. So just shows what kind of players you kind of had there. And yeah, I was lucky enough to get elected captain my senior year. I think for me, I'm not the most outspoken person on the ice or anything in the locker room, but I wasn't afraid to, tell guys, hey, we got to sit down. We got to figure this out right now. We're not doing our thing. So I wasn't afraid to say anything, but just kind of game day, I, do my routine, and the team kind of respected that, and kind of more of a lead by example than a more outspoken kind of person. But I had a couple, good assistant captains those years too.
Talk to us a little bit about the Hobey Baker thing, because that's a big deal as well. Being a finalist for that's another honor.
Yeah, I think they really have 50. I think they have 50. About midseason, they pick 50 players or so for the Hobey Baker, and and it kind of whittles down to like 25, 10, 5, and then 3 at the final award ceremony. And I think if I remember correctly, I was nominated my junior and senior year. And I
Wow.
think it was because my junior year I was top 10. Not remember what my senior year was. We didn't, as a collective as a team, we didn't have as good of my senior year. But my junior year, we ended up going to the NCAA tournament. We lost in the second round, and I think it was triple overtime, actually 2-1 to I think it was North Dakota, who ended up winning the whole national championship. But yeah, just to be among some of those guys in the Hobie Bakers, it's an honor to be my name thrown out there with them. And
Yeah, I understand. It's not the be-all and end-all for players, as you know. But I looked through what you achieved in college, like your stats, having a letter on your chest, the Hobie Baker stuff, having success in terms of, winning games with Ferris State. I couldn't believe you went undrafted. I know it's a bit of a weird thing to ask because it's a negative, but what was that like for you? Were you sitting there thinking, how did that not happen? Because you're a hell of a goalie.
well, really for the NHL draft, it's usually like 18, 19-year-old kids. And I went to college as a 19 turned 20-year-old. So I was kind of maybe not on the radar as much in NHL radars. So when I was 17, 18 or so before that. So, I mean, that wasn't discouraging. There's been so many players over the years who've gone undrafted and have great years in pro hockey or NHL. There's players drafted 7th round, last overall pick or something, and go on to play good pro and NHL careers. So that never really determined me, probably since I was 12 or 13, it's kind of had my mindset that I really wanted to take a career in hockey as the main focus of my life path, and I knew college was kind of a career I could have a backup plan B to have a degree, so I kind of went that route. But kind of since I was 12, 13 years old, I always never had a doubt I'd have a good pro career, and always worked hard on and off the ice, done some extra things with my basement. My dad actually painted a hockey rink on our basement floor in paint. It has all the blue line, red line, all the circles. So my brother and I got a lot of use out of that over the years, shooting pucks, doing off ice down there, doing a lot of hand eye stuff for myself. So, I just kind of always had that mindset that, hey, put in the hard work and it'll pay off at some point. And, it paid off through juniors, college, and, all the way through pros to get me to here. So I think just the hard work kind of helped me get to where I am.
Oh, for sure. And particularly the intensity of the NCAA. I love talking to the Polkamp brothers about it. And I was talking to Dylan Eichstadt a little bit about it. It's a whole nother level, isn't it, when you play in the NCAA? It's really undiluted squash, so to speak.
Yeah, there's so many good players out there that, want to play, juniors, and then so many good couple of junior leagues in the U.S. and they all want to filter the NCAA Division I, and there's only so many spots. So, there's really good competition every night. It doesn't really matter if you're the top team in college hockey or towards the bottom. Like, anyone can be anyone in every given day. So you really got to bring your game. And that's one thing that I really enjoyed about it is it doesn't matter, you're playing at home, away, who you're playing. It was a battle every single night. And I think, for college players that play, 3 or 4 years, that helps them down the road in pro hockey, because at some point during the season, it's a grind. And, you go through those battles and battle days in college to prepare yourself for it.
Yeah, no, I understand. And then turning pro as well. That's as hard as it is for a goalie. You have 2, maybe 3 spots per team. And you had a pretty successful career in North America as a pro. You had a lot of looks in the American League. You had a lot of success in the coast as well. When you kind of look back on it, you must look back on that kind of fondly.
Yeah, absolutely. I got a chance right out of college to go play in the American League in Bridgeport, and won my first game. So I think that kind of was a sigh of relief, or a breath like, hey, okay, it's pro hockey, but it's just hockey. I can do this. So I think that definitely helped just get the first step, confidence in the right direction. But yeah, over the years I learned a lot from ECHL games. I was all-star, I think my first year in Quad Cities there, and just network with some of the other all-stars there at the all-star game, kind of pick their brain about what they were thinking about their career and talk about their chances or their experience in the American League. Kind of got me to understand what their experiences were like and what to expect when I got the opportunity to go up to the American League and play. And luckily I got that opportunity quite a few times in my career, and I feel like I made the most of it for the most part. I think, my wins and numbers kind of show that. So I'm just happy to get those opportunities. What I wish I would have got a couple more opportunities, absolutely. But, it is what it is. And, I'm happy with, my performances there. And that brought me over to Europe and to Coventry. So it all kind of worked out because, enjoyed my time here so far and looking forward to next year as well.
Oh, yeah. Stu, do you want to pick this up from here?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a nice point. I mean, you obviously came to Europe last year, but you'd had success over in North America. So what was the reason behind moving from North America, where you'd had success, to try something different in Europe?
Like I had interest to kind of do the same thing I was doing in North America, which would be like starting the ECHL and kind of come up and be American League goalie when, there's injury or something might happen. And I got a couple of teams. Like my last year in North America, I was with the Iowa Wild organization, and they had interest in me coming back too to play with them. But for me, I don't want to say sick of kind of going up and down and moving so often, but I was kind of at the point where I wanted to challenge myself to be on a higher level on a more consistent basis. So that's kind of why I decided to come over to Europe and see what happens over here in these leagues, because there's so many good leagues in Europe you can move around to, and just another aspect where I didn't really think about at the time, but I kind of learned is just the lifestyle in Europe is a little bit different, and I enjoy that quite a bit. Get to see some different scenery, different cultures, kind of explore the world a little bit. So even coming over for being in Europe for 1 year kind of made me even want to travel and see the world even more, because I saw so much in 1 year. Can't wait to see what I can see in the next few years too.
You mentioned about sort of moving around, and it's nice to get called up to the AHL, but it does involve relocating, new teammates, new rinks, etc. That must be difficult for outskaters, but for a goalie, that must be really tough to sort of adapt that quickly when you've got to go in and be the guy that next night.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting, especially when you walk to a new locker room. Luckily, I knew a player or two usually when I got called to the American League, just from playing with them at different spots, or maybe my brother or someone I knew play with them. So I had a little connection in almost every locker room, which is nice. Hockey's kind of a small world in that way. But definitely going into a new team, not knowing their systems, not knowing how they play in the defensive zone, for me was definitely a challenge. And a lot of the time, people might not realize it, but when you move like that all the time, it's tough to get in a groove, in a routine, and you're living in a hotel room most of the time. You get called up, so you're not really comfortable making your own meals and that kind of stuff. So a lot of mental toughness comes into it. But I always told myself at the end of the day, it's hockey. I go to the rink, put on the skates, just play my game, and got called up for a reason. You got called up because they liked your game, so just do that, play your game, and have success.
Yeah, and you had some time over in Innsbruck, and for one reason or another, it didn't quite work out. But then sort of like the transition was made, and you've come to Coventry. How did you find out that Coventry were interested in picking up a goalie like yourself?
Yeah, after Innsbruck didn't work out, there was probably actually a month and a half where I was in Innsbruck, not really knowing what was going to happen with me. At anything from staying in the Austrian League, there was a goalie or two that got hurt that I heard may have potential. I had calls from some ECHL teams back in North America, a couple other leagues, and was trying to figure out what was best for me in that month, and ended up skating to stay in shape most of the time with just the U20 team there in Innsbruck. So, that was an experience where I got to help a couple of those goalies. They liked me, help them improve, but helped me stay in shape as well, because a month off of not skating would have made it tough for me to walk right in and do that. But and then I got a call from my agent and said, Danny with the Blaze, they're looking for a goalie. My agent thought they had a pretty solid team. They just, for whatever reason, bad balances or whatnot, couldn't click it all together. And so I talked to him about it a little bit more and looked at, the roster, and I saw the Polkamp brothers are there, and I played with Matt for a year in Quad Cities. So I gave him a little message. Hey, how do you like the team? The boy's pretty good. You like the coach and this and that. And he gave me a little rundown of, he really liked the coach, a lot of North American style type stuff, really system oriented. He thought he really coached the team really well, which was a big thing for me because, the team's coaching the team boys the right way and doing it well, and that makes it easier on a goaltender. And I decided, I wanted to take a chance with the Blaze and see what Coventry had to offer, and it seemed to work out because we had a good run there at the end of the year, and I really enjoyed myself playing and the team, and like I said, the coaching staff. So it was a great move for me.
I mean, you're absolutely right. You came in and you settled down, and again adapted, new rink, new teammates, etc. But managed to get yourself on a bit of a run reasonably quickly. And towards the end of the season, like you say, Blaze were on a bit of a roll. I mean, what do you think the key to that was from a team perspective? Why did it all come together at that time?
Well, like I said, I wasn't there the first part of the year, so I don't know what exactly wasn't clicking. But yeah, I don't know if it was my first game there, and I made a couple of saves and gave the boys some confidence to maybe boost their game, or it was just that time of the year where it started to click for the PP, the power play, and the lines just ended up working. I can't say for sure without going back and watching some of the first few games of the year for the Blaze why it wasn't clicking then. But yeah, I don't know. We just fed off each other. I felt welcome right in the locker room from day one. The boys made me feel welcome, and we were joking around from day one a little bit. And I think that kind of chemistry doesn't happen very often in teams, but when you can do that kind of stuff, everyone feeds off each other, and you go to battle each other every night during games, and you play a little harder for guys you like. So if you can like the guys in the room, everyone digs in a little harder, and if things are going great, they're going great, and things aren't going the right way, sometimes you dig your skates in a little harder and play even a little harder for those guys, because everyone makes mistakes, stuff happens. But yeah, we just ended up clicking.
And you've been very complimentary there to the guys in the room about how they were welcoming to you and the like. We've done a few of these interviews now over the past few weeks and months, and everyone from the Blaze who we've spoken to has said CJ came in, was brilliant. CJ came in, took us to another level, and they've paid it back to yourself. Why do you think your personal success? What's the key to sort of like how you play well as a goalie?
Well, like I said, that month in Innsbruck where I was kind of skating with the U20 team was a pretty tough month mentally for me, not knowing what's going to happen. And, there was probably a time where I was like, maybe I'll just be done. I'll just go home and, either try again next year or whatnot. But just being out there with those U20 kids, and they actually made me realize, as they'd ask me some questions about, hey, juniors, how was juniors over in the U.S.? I might want to go. Like, how can I do this? Like, seeing how much they wanted it and wanted to get better kind of fed towards me when I was skating with them. Like, these kids wanted. That's how I was at their age. Like, I made it this far. Why would I kind of quit now in a way? And I just kind of made a mindset and made a change. And you know what? Let's get in really good shape. So whenever I make it to wherever team I am next, I'm just ready to go from day one. And like skating, I was skating twice a day sometimes with the U20 team, and they had a youth skate before that in the morning, like 8 a.m. with kids 13, 14 years old. So just kind of a mindset there, just to, get in shape, and just when you get that opportunity, you never know when it's going to be or where it's going to be. But just be able to step in from day one and really go. And I think, that mindset helped me get on ice ready, make sure I was in shape to step in from day one. And I think when I got to Coventry, with the way my agent talked about the team, that they had a good, solid, team that could put up points, they can score, they do a lot of good things, right, that I didn't want to let anyone down on the team either. So I think just between, trying to get myself that really good shape for the next opportunity, and the mindset I didn't want to let the team down, who's, done a lot of good things, kind of just kickstarted my success here.
And you mentioned about taking the opportunity when it comes, and how we don't know when it's all going to happen next, and that could be said a little bit of the case for the upcoming season. It's still a little bit uncertain when things are going to arise, and we don't know when that opportunity is going to come. But when it does come, I mean, what's the aim for 2020-21? I mean, where is it similar to NCAA? Any team can beat anyone on any night, and a little bit of unfinished business. Do you think the Blaze can take it on for the next year?
Yeah, I definitely think, just playing the league for the second half of the year, and there's no night off. Every team can beat any team. If one team takes a night off, then whoever's at the bottom of the standings could be the team at the top. You still got to bring your game. There's no game off, just like NCAA. As far as next year, I think, as a group, yeah, we'll probably have high expectations for ourselves internally as a season, but realistically, we just got to take it one practice, one game at a time. We can't look at the end goal and say, hey, we're going to be here when the first part of the year doesn't matter. Every game matters. You got to, get points to climb the standings. So, we're going to have to, focus at the first game from the first puck drop, and play our game, play our system. And, it worked for us last year. There's no reason to think, if we come in shape and which will probably be a hard time with not knowing when we're going to start coming in shape and making sure we're working out. Yeah, limited ice availability for some players. I like myself in Michigan. It's not totally open ice sheets, so it's tough to train like you used to. But as the season got pushed back a little bit, that might hopefully open up in full swing here soon. But yeah, I got to take it game by game. I mean, that's how I always look at a season. Anyways, like you asked for how I had season success and success in my career, I took it game by game. The last game doesn't matter how good or how bad you played. It's in the past. The next game is all that matters.
Stu, I was gonna say, because you'll back me up on this. I talk a lot, so when you're asking the questions, I try and listen as much as I could. And CJ, I don't know you that well, but I'm really glad we did this, because when you were talking about your time in Austria, that really resonated with me, and that couldn't have been easy, right? You go to Europe for the first time, they kind of let you go, and reinventing yourself mentally, training with the juniors, thinking, you know what, I want to do this. I want to be the best version of me I can be and experience this game as long as I can. That really clicked somewhere. So yeah, that's like the winner's attitude, and I think that's going to be really successful next year for the boys. So I appreciate you sharing that. I also wanted to talk about your relationship with the D, because I know a lot of kind of people around the league and Blaze fans are talking about, we had Ferrara lead the league in goals, Yanni led the league in assists. But that blue line was really, really solid. There was some really nice pieces. They really fed off each other well. That must have been really fun to keep net behind them.
Yeah, they had a really good skill set between playing stay-at-home D and being able to skate and have some skill with the puck. So it was nice to see them, really be themselves in front of me. Sometimes, a couple of toe drags right in front of the net there got me a little bit nervous, and maybe a couple of turnovers that I wasn't, as happy with over the years. But you know what? That's hockey. It's a game of mistakes. But as a goalie, I like to play the puck a lot. So going out there and be able to, find them right away and be able to get them the puck as fast as possible. What they do with it was great, because, that helped us get out of our zone quicker quite a few times. And, you never knew what they were going to do with the puck. They had the ability, to make the simple play or, make a little more fancy play that might, give one of the other forwards, a breakaway or something like that, as long as, I guess Johnny had a hard time bearing breakaways this year. But, it was fun to play in front of them, or fun to play behind them, because, they blocked a lot of shots for me, which I really appreciated. No one gives them enough credit for blocking shots, so I got to do that right now while I have the chance. So, D-man from last year, Blaze D, thank you for all the shots you blocked last year. Thank you for all the ones coming up this year. Drew there blocked, I think that's the second game of the year I was there. Took a nice one right off his jock area, and had to, miss, 3 weeks or a month. So, that just shows their dedication to playing D in front of me.
Oh, for sure. I want to end on talking about one final game, if you remember it, because this really resonated with me too. When you shut out Cardiff in Cardiff 5-0, nobody shuts out Cardiff in Cardiff. Did that feel special at the time, knowing that they were the powerhouses in the Elite League?
For the team, I think it did. For me at that point, I didn't feel anything special. That's my job. That's what I was going out there to do, because I didn't know the league as well. I didn't know that, they haven't been shut out in whatever 3, 4, 5 years at home, whatever it was. So looking back at it now is probably, wow, that was more of an accomplishment personally too. But at the time, I show up at the rink. I try to give my team a chance to win every game, and my job's to stop the puck. So I did my job tonight. It's kind of how I took it at the time. But looking back at it, yeah, I mean, it was a cool experience, a cool night. The boys gave me the puck, one of the pucks from the night, so I still have that at home in my room. So that's nice. And yeah, I mean, it was definitely a special experience looking back at it. So I realize that more now than I did at the exact time. Was like I said, I was only there 2 or 3 weeks or something at the time, and didn't really realize the significance of the moment, I guess, because I knew Cardiff, was a good team. Watched some Champions League games with some friends in Innsbruck throughout the year, so I knew they were one of the top teams in the league, or supposed to be. So I knew it would be a good game, and maybe that helped me focus a little bit more for that game. Just no one seeing them play before, but yeah, looking back at it was a way. I appreciate it way more looking back now than the moment, I guess I should say.
No, for sure. I appreciate that. That's a good answer. Still, I'm pretty much done. Unless you have anything else to go through.
No, just a big well done for last season, and thanks for coming back, and we are all really excited to have you back when the season does get underway.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was a good season last year, and hopefully we can put that behind us and get a new mindset that we got to do the same thing this year, because we can't live in the past, and we'll get the boys back on the ice hopefully sooner than later, and get the Sky Dome packed with fans and get them rowdy again like we like them, and have a great season.
Well, guys, that's pretty much been the highlight of my day, finding out that CJ is coming back for another year. Hopefully it's been a highlight of yours. Till next time, thanks for joining us, and we'll speak to you all soon.
Thanks, guys.